press conference. Wheat says the ring is involved in up to 300 auto thefts in the city last year. Most cars were stripped and sold for parts. The investigation has now been expanded to surrounding counties. Once again, this is Tom Calamer, SUTV News.
This is Nicole Transer reporting with SUTV. The investigation into the auto theft ring, responsible for over 200 auto thefts last year, continues. Police Chief Clayton Wheat discussed the expansion of the investigation into surrounding counties. Most stolen cars were disassembled and sold for parts. Nicole Transer, SUTV News.
This is Cassie Forlis with SUTV News. This morning, Police Chief Clayton Wheat held a press conference to discuss the recent ring of auto thefts in the city. Wheat says the ring is responsible for over 200 thefts in the last year, with most vehicles being sold for parts. Wheat will continue his investigation and expand it into surrounding counties. Cassie Forlis, SUTV.
My name is Benjamin Anwell, and this is SUTV News. Police Chief Clayton Wheat addressed last year's 100 to 200 auto thefts in a press conference this morning. Chief Wheat says that a theft ring was responsible disassembling most of the cars and selling them for parts. The investigation is being expanded into surrounding areas. Benjamin Anwell, SUTV News.
Marissa Sora, SUTV. Good evening. Police Chief Clayton Wheat discussed at a press conference earlier today the department's ongoing investigation into the auto theft ring. The nearly 300 auto thefts in the city last year alone has caused the investigation to expand into surrounding counties. Wheat says most cars are stripped and sold for parts. Marissa Sora, SUTV.
This is Steph Aritz with SUTV News. Police Chief Clayton Wheat declared further investigation into the auto theft ring during a press conference this morning. The ring is responsible for 200 to 300 auto thefts last year. Wheat says most cars were sold for parts and addressed the investigation's expansion into surrounding counties. This is Steph Aritz, SUTV News.
Jordan Wells, SUTV News. This morning, a $151,000 home burned down in Woodland Lake subdivision. Owner George Mason was not home during the fire. While taking pictures, photographer Don Curlinger was injured by falling timber. Curlinger is in a steady condition at a local hospital with minor injuries. Jordan Wells, SUTV News.
This is Nick Hinton for SUTV. Police Chief Clayton Wheat held a press conference today on an auto theft ring. Wheat says the auto theft ring is responsible for stealing 200 to 300 cars as disassembled for parts in the past year. Wheat says the investigation on the auto theft ring is expanding into surrounding counties. Nick Hinton, SUTV News.
This is Robin Woodley with SUTV News. A fire burned down a house valued over $150,000 in the Woodlake area this morning. Firefighters fought back flames at George Mason's house for over an hour. No one was home at the time. Local photographer Don Curlinger sustained burns and bruises while shooting the scene. Robin Woodley, SUTV.
Hello, this is Colin Riley with SUTV News. This morning, a house in the Woodland Lake subdivision burned completely. No one was home at the time, and rescue teams fought the blaze for over an hour. Local paper photographer Don Curlinger was injured when falling timber struck him. He was hospitalized with minor injuries. Colin Riley, SUTV News.
This is Alexa Alba reporting with SUTV News. A house in Woodland Lake subdivision valued at $151,000 burned down this morning. No one was home at the time, while 3 engines had brawled the fire for over 1 hour. Local photographer Don Curlinger was sent to a local hospital while trying to snap photos. Alexa Alpa, SUTV News.